What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I am basically in the middle of nowhere for a really good reason. A loyal fan and subscriber of Rady's Rides by the name of Blake has decided, you know what? He was willing to come out to this middle of nowhere location because he has a very special car. What we have is Blake's 2003 Ford Mustang Mach 1. But before we dive into this Mach 1, let's talk a little history of this iconic car. So you might be using the Google and the World Wide Web, and you might start to see Mach 1 coming back up in search engines and stuff. The reason why is, guess what? For 2021, Ford is bringing back this fabled, iconic vehicle from the Mustang lineup known as the Mach 1. Now, what's interesting, it all started all the way back in 1969, if you could believe that. Remember, the first year, technically, of the Ford Mustang was 1964 and a half. With the Mach 1, the promise and the delivery of extra style and, of course, that extra performance that we all love. Now, 1969 being the first year, this is a 2003. So let's fast forward to 2003 and explain where we were at. Fox body Mustang is long gone. That was the final year of the Fox body Mustang, was 1993. This SN95 chassis started in 1994, ran 1994 to 2004, a nice 10 years. Now the Mach 1, they brought that name back 2003, 2004. With Blake's 2003 example, this is the most coveted of them all, the iconic black and white livery. Now what's fascinating is for 2003, we're talking around 800 or so examples of this model, which makes it really a go-to for not only Mustang enthusiasts, but also muscle car enthusiasts. And one thing that this Mustang has, the Mach 1, that the new one for 2021 does not have, is that iconic shaker hood. So let's go ahead, dive into Blake's 2003 Mach 1 and see, really, is it that iconic special car standout that really you could get into today and not have to worry about buying a brand new one? Let's go ahead and check it out. So Blake actually drove over 3 hours to track down this car, and I could understand why, being the black and white motif. When we look at the style, still overall dimensions are of that Fox body size. When it comes to the shape of this Mustang, you might look at a newer Mustang, you park it next to this one, it's gonna be quite a bit larger. So we're talking about shaving weight right off the bat by going with this generation. You can see the style in that 1994 to 2004. Everything was getting a little bit more rounded, but I like the way we have the original headlight housings. And if you notice, Blake's done a great job to kind of clear them up, because over time, these headlight housings usually turn a little yellow, a little faded. Looks really great. The nice bright white. We have the lower exterior lights, and then I really love this massive flat black air dam that goes across the front. Of course, no Mustang is not complete without that horse in the center there. Really love the open area, the flat black on the bottom, and that grille area looks really sharp. And then of course, going up onto the hood, you have the Mach 1 stripe and the shaker hood. So there's a big, large cutout here in the hood. And when Blake gets on throttle, just like we're gonna get on throttle, that shaker scoop is going to go back and forth, and it is also functional. Let's go ahead and take a trip around the bend here. We're gonna see these beautiful Mach 1 wheels. Love the design, machined aluminum, really all the way around, super clean. And the way that this car sits, he's done a great job at just positioning it perfectly. Now this is a 17-inch wheel, and you're looking at 255 on the width and a nice 40 series sidewall. And like I said, for the distance from the top of the tire to the inside of the fender, lowered just perfectly, just enough to really make it look extra special. On the side, we have the tri-bar, the good old red, white, and blue, nothing like Americana. Think about it, Mustang Americana. I think about apple pies, I think about hot dogs, and of course we're thinking about Twinkies too, but of course the Mustang there. I love the Mach 1 stripe all the way down the side of the door. A little bit of a side sill extension gives it a nice aggressive look. And what's great about the Mach 1, it definitely stood out from your standard SN95 Mustang back from 2003. Sharp body line going from the front fender down the door and then into this side scoop. Now, The side scoop is non-functional, so we are gonna zonk it, but what I like about the side scoop is the way they take the non-functional part and kind of sink it in there so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. It's a nice, clean design. And this side scoop, you look at the original Mach 1s, that's the styling what we're talking about. You can see where we were at with the SN95 chassis, with the rear quarter window, nice fastback flow design. And then when we get to the rear, obviously things get bigger and badder because we're talking about, of course, rear wheel drive in our Mustang, 315s. You can see just how deep the wheel is to help get that extra width for these meaty Nitto tires out back, but 315s to get the power to the ground. And then when we get to the back, you're gonna have on the Mach 1 a flat black spoiler, just like the original, and then really, really nice what he's done with smoking out the rear taillights. The black comes down, looking really beautiful, and then you're gonna have this nice Flowmaster exhaust, and there's some extra goodies that go along the way, all the way to that 4.6 liter V8, but I love the gloss black, really super clean with that Mustang name. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood, let's pop that shaker hood and see what's powering Blake's Mach 1. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You can see the massive opening for that shaker hood. Remember, this is gonna close down. This is a rubber seal. It's gonna make a nice tight seal, and you can see the functionality there. Now, when looking underneath the hood, what I love is on those engine covers, that bright blue color. That is part of Ford performance, and that is part of that Ford heritage. When we're talking about Blake's particular setup on his 4.6 liter V8, you're looking at a built bottom end, fully built bottom end, stage 2 Crowley cams. This has a full exhaust. So we're talking about BBK headers, X-pipe, and then into those Flowmaster exhausts. We have subframe connectors because we want to make this a little bit more rigid to help get power and also for handling. 410 gears out back. So this thing is meant for the quarter mile. With all the work that's been done, and of course, Blake being one heck of a car enthusiast, hashtag save the manuals, we do have that 5-speed manual transmission. You're looking at 370 horsepower, not the crank, but actually to the wheels. And the car, remember I was telling you how these are light because they're smaller? 3,469 pounds. Now, one way to tell that Blake is a car enthusiast, besides the manual, even if he couldn't drive manual, one way to tell that he's a car enthusiast, look how clean it is underneath the hood of this car. Now remember, this is not a brand new Mach 1, but being 2003, we're talking about 17 years old, really clean. I could eat my lunch. I'm actually, I think just to show off a little bit, I'm gonna eat my lunch off of the engine compartment of Blake's Mach 1. So we're gonna have lunch after this, but why don't we go ahead, looking at this 4.6 liter V8, looks really good. Why don't we start up? If you're ready for an eargasm, I'm ready for an eargasm. Let's fire up this Mach 1. All right, guys, I just went back in time, and this is not a DeLorean. This is a 2003 Mustang Mach 1. What I love about Blake's Mach 1 is that you would not believe, but this car has well over 130,000 miles on the chassis. So this is a car that's been driven. It's not a garage queen. It's not something that's been wrapped up in a Ziploc bag and touched with a diaper. Blake loves his car, but he also uses his car, and I could see that, and it's wonderful to share an example like this. But let's see what 2003 was all about. Let's go to the door panel so you can see the simplicity in the design. I know a lot of people like to say that the new Mach 1 for 2021 has a lot of plastic on the interior. There was a little bit more use of plastic. That door pocket, super small. It wasn't about getting a super big gulp in your door pocket. You probably put maybe a taco or two from Taco Bell in there. Coming to the dash, you can see that dual cowl sort of setup like are on the new Mustangs and the new Mach 1 coming out. I like the Mustang script here, but this just screams 1990s. Even though it's a 2003, remember this particular body style started all the way in 1994. I was graduating from high school. You don't have dual climate control, nice simple controls, even the original radio setup in here. Really, really cool. Just to see where we've come from technology-wise, not only engine, but also on the interior. You do have a 12 volt, and then you can see we have that good old slick shifting 5-speed manual transmission, nice short throw shifter on there. Really, really love the way that this style is set up, because it reminds me, you know, my friends back in high school, they had Fox body Mustangs, like I said, very similar to a Fox body Mustang in its delivery. And this is just by doing this, it's bringing back a lot of memories, because going to the street races and driving their cars were just a lot of fun. You got a good old-fashioned e-brake. Of course, just to prove a point, we got the supersized drink, so you could get your Coca-Cola, you could get your Mr. Pibb, Mountain Dew. We have it all set up here. It's a little rubbery on the armrest, but like I said, this is 2003. Today, if you go look at the new 2021 Mustang Mach 1, things are a little different, but look at the seats. All original. I like the way they incorporated the white stripe and this beautiful rib design all the way down. And one thing is for sure, very, very comfortable on the seats, and they really have worn extremely well. Plenty of headroom. There's people that take these to the track on the regular basis. Remember, if you're running fast quarter-mile times, your local track is going to require you to wear a helmet. You could easily get the helmet on and still have plenty of headroom in here, because nobody wants to go down the quarter-mile with your head cocked to the right or the left. That would just be silly. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Mach 1. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of Blake's Mach 1. You can see we have manual seat controls, but I'm telling you, it's interesting how high the bolstering is, but it's very, very soft. What's wonderful, of course, being manual, you got those 3 pedals. I like the nice brushed aluminum on the pedals. Decent sized dead pedal there. Remember, dead pedal, which is this pedal over here, is for supporting yourself, especially if you're going to rip it down the drag strip or a nice, fun, twisty road. Steering wheel, this is where we were at during this time period. I'm having a little bit of a PTSD moment just because of the way the steering wheel looks. With the airbags and whatnot, wheels were looking a little funky, but hey, it is what it is. This is what the style was. Stock wheel. You do have your Mustang horse there, and it's a good thickness. It's just this horn button's not the sexiest of looking things, and I feel like they could have did something a little bit different, but like I said, let's keep it apples to apples here. Gauges. You're not going to find any 12-inch digital display or anything like that. You have your coolant, your fuel, your tach, your voltmeter, oil pressure, and also your speedometer. And it's easily laid out, very clean, super simple. As Victor's backing out, he's going to show you the hood scoop. The view of that shaker hood from behind the wheel really just is a nice classic look, and it's going to be wild to see that thing shaking back and forth. But why don't we go ahead, before we take this for a spin, let's check out the trunk and see, are these smaller Mustangs really usable? All right, guys, time to open up the trunk in this 2003 Mach 1. You can see usable room. Now, it's actually, the opening is a little bit smaller than new ones, and I like what Blake has done with that nice cargo mat there. Mustang Mach 1, such an iconic name of an iconic car. But let's get to the best part. This car is not about trunks. It's not about floor mats and little things that we can hang on our mirror. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take Blake's Mach 1 for a spin. All right, guys, we're in Blake's Mach 1. We're about to leave the undisclosed area. Here we go, rolling down the highway. Gonna slowly, gingerly just build into it. Rolling on throttle. Love the sound, the sensation. Wow, seeing the shaker hood. And what's wonderful is when you have naturally aspirated horsepower, it just builds. The torque delivery just builds, and it's really nice and smooth. Now, with these types of shifters that people put in their Fox bodies or in this 2003 Mach 1, you really got to be on your A game when shifting, because this thing is truly super short throw, very, very mechanical, and you want to make sure that you hit each gear. I remember back in high school, that was always the biggest complaint, was hitting third gear, especially when you're racing somebody. Missing third was like just embarrassing. But let's see how we do. We're gonna make a U-turn here. Just gonna roll in second gear. Roll in second gear. Here we go. On throttle. Third gear. Love the sound. See that shaker hood? Wow. And just the
a motor. It really just has such flexibility to the power and really allows you to enjoy what a modern style muscle car is all about. That's for sure. We're gonna try something a little bit slower speed, see how it goes, because remember, we got those 410 gears out back. It's all about getting the power to the ground in this beast, that's for sure. All right, guys, here we go. Slow roll, first gear, on throttle. Spinning them up, second gear, yeah! In the third. Fourth. I'm telling you, this thing, I would love to put some drag radials or some drag slicks, take it to the quarter mile, and really be on a race prepared surface. It is a little bit of a handful getting the power to the ground, but that's what makes you earn it. It doesn't just give it to you with fancy traction control and all this electronic garbage. You have to earn it in this car. And when you do, it feels oh so good. On throttle. Second gear. Yeah. Love this car. It's such a sweetheart, and I'm telling you right now, you guys don't understand how I'm having a flashback to my high school days with my friends, Fox Body Mustangs. Blake, thank you so much for bringing your baby out and allowing us to feature her on Rady's Rides. I think a lot of the people watching are just gonna fall in love with this car if they haven't already. But we gotta get out of Dodge, so to speak, before anybody else shows up we don't want. So I will see you back in a split second.
All right, guys, it's been one heck of a time here in the middle of nowhere. It was worth driving out here to not only meet Blake, but also finally get our hands on this Mach 1. It really showcases what the Mustang is all about, especially the Mach 1. And I understand people's frustration why that 2021 Mach 1 coming out next year, why they're upset that there's no shaker hood. It just adds to the overall experience, and definitely the modifications that have been done to Blake's Mach 1, simply mind-blowing, and really just takes me back to really being in high school. And the newer Mustangs don't seem to do that. So definitely want to give a huge thank you and a shout out to Blake getting this Mach 1. We have more excitement he's going to be bringing out very, very soon. He's got some other cool cars, so stay tuned for that. If these are the types of things you want to see on Rady's Rides, where we take a look back at, maybe we don't go all the way back to muscle car version 1.0, but we go along the way and touch on some of these other great cars, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it out to Victor. He's out here in the middle of nowhere. He's kind of scared because I told him I'm just going to leave him here. So we'll figure out if he makes it home. But thank you, Victor, by the way, for your hard work. I'll see you when I see you. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.